welcome back to Cruising as Crew and a happy new year. It is 2021 and life is just gonna get better. I can just feel it in my fingers. I really just hope you had the best time and you've got over your hangover and you are ready for what this year has to offer. And we are going to kick 2021 off with an interview with a cast member, one of the dancers on board a cruise ship. She's going to be telling us what it is like, how to get the job, everything we need to know about being a dancer on board a cruise ship. And I really hope you enjoy it. Any questions that you have that aren't answered in this video, please leave them down below in the comments box and I will get back to you. Or you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew and I will definitely get back to you. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video and I really hope you had a great New Year's Eve. So hello Amy.
Hello.
You alright?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you in person.
I know, it's
nearly a year now since we got on.
No, it's scary, isn't it? How fast it goes. It's crazy. Okay, so we'll get straight into the questions. So, what is your job title on board?
I am a production performer.
Okay.
And within that, I am a dancer.
Can you please go into detail about that particular job on board?
Mainly, our job is to entertain the guests as best we can.
Yeah.
We have shows in the main theatre on board and also in the lounge theatre. They tend to be evening performances. We have 2 or 3 shows in the evening. But aside from that, on like a sea day, we do the dance classes. On the ship that I did, they had salsa classes, line dancing.
Oh, you love the line dancing.
Popular with the cruisers. They love it. And there was also a fit steps one. As a dancer, it will be our role to take it in turns to teach those classes on board. So yeah, shows and dance classes is our main roles.
So to do this job, did you need experience on land prior to working on ships?
You don't need it to apply, but it helps. If you do have experience of performing in shows or just sort of anything you've done dance-wise, if you put that all on your CV, having a bit of experience is going to maybe get you noticed a bit more in auditions. I think, oh, she's done this before. At the end of the day, if you are naturally talented and you go into that room and you show them that you can do what they want you to do, then you can get the job. But obviously having training helps you get to that stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, any sort of experience you've had helps in audition.
How did you even find out about cruise ships? So when you did your professional training, was this something that they told you you could do?
Yeah, it was always sort of an option, but not one I ever considered at first. It was sort of, you leave college and you're like, I want to do the West End.
Yeah.
I want to be in London, and you have these really high hopes, and you get out to auditions and you realise this is near on impossible with the hundreds of dancers that are thinking the same thing. And I was always like, no, I don't want to go away. And then a few of my friends actually got contracts on ships, and then you start seeing the pictures of the travelling and the beaches, and I started to think, yeah, I think this lifestyle would suit me. Yeah. So I started auditioning a couple of years before I even got the first job. Yeah, it was hard to get into.
So were they all open auditions that you went to?
Yeah, all the cruise auditions I went to are open. Cruise ones are usually mainly open, I think. And
then do you do a dance routine solo, or do you do it with a group? How does the audition process work?
And you basically just turn up nice and early because there's going to be a really big queue going all the way around London in the cold at 8 a.m. and you get given a number. You're no longer a person, you're a number now. Because there is like hundreds of people. Yeah. And you get put into groups and you're told like you're group 3, wait around until 11 is when you're going to go in. And then you go in with maybe, 50 people in your group, and you are taught a short routine, usually maybe a bit of technique, something to start off with. Yeah. And you get a chance to do it maybe a couple of times. You don't do it on your own. You'll just do it in a group of 3 or 4 people. They sort of watch you, and you watch the whole room do it, and everyone's looking at you, and it's very nerve-wracking. And they sort of say, talk amongst yourselves, and everyone's like, okay. No one knows. Everyone's so nervous. And then they literally just say the numbers that we call out, the people we want to see again. If we didn't call out your number, thank you very much. So you're literally standing there like, what number am I? What number am I? Like, and then if they don't say your number, it's like, okay, that's it. I've travelled to London and I've queued up and I've done like maybe 30 seconds of dance, and that's it. then you go. Or if you do get the recall, you maybe have to wait round for a bit longer. and go back in the afternoon, maybe learn a bit of a longer routine. And then if you're one of the lucky ones that get to the end of the day, then they then say, we'll be in contact with you. And you've just got that wait. The amount of times I'm like, well, I've got a day out in London now. It's like 10 a.m. and I'm done.
Oh no. So how many times did you audition before you got a place?
For P&O, which was my last contract,
Yeah.
I did 2 lots of auditions and I got it the second time round. Because also you could be the best dancer in the room,
Yeah.
and you could have everything they're looking for, but they haven't got a contract for you. Like some ships, they might not have a contract until the next year, so you might have to wait, or they might be like, all the girls are usually around the same height, so they could be like, she's a perfect dancer, but she's 3 inches too short, and that's as like tough as it can be.
Oh wow, that's mad.
And previous casts would have had costumes, so if it's like a tall ship, they're all like taller costumes. It's not just how you dance, it's just the whole sort of
so it really
package.
is like if the face fits, like big time. Do you sign up for emails, like, or are you on the cruise line's LinkedIn page, or like?
For me, I haven't actually signed up to anything. I think there are things that you can sign up to, even things like the Stage magazine. I think they give out auditions. I usually just check on Facebook pages. Like the last company I did was Headliners Theatre Company, and I just always keeping a track. And also I've got loads and loads of friends who do the same thing, so we all it's sort of just word gets around that it's happening. And yeah, just keep an eye on social media is where I find all mine.
So do you always go through an agency? So you said the last contract you did, you went with Headliners Theatre Company. Can you be employed directly by the cruise line, or are you always employed by an agency who works with a cruise line?
Are just hired by the company that provides the entertainment. The theatre company is the people who put on the production, so it's their job just to hire us and teach us what they want and chuck us on to do the job.
So after a successful audition, how long did you wait to find out that you had got the job?
I think at the end of my audition, they said, we're going to give calls out within the next week.
Right.
So I did not put my phone down for the whole time. And I think I was going away to Amsterdam for a few days. Yeah. And I was like on the flight, and I was like, oh no, I've got like a half an hour flight that my phone's not going to be available. And as soon as I landed, I was like, I think it was like maybe 3 weeks or something, that just felt like it was 3 months.
How long after finding out that you got the job was it until you started training?
It just varies on when your contract starts and when the ship's available and when the last people's contract ends. But for me, I think it was 3 months, which was nice for me because I had enough time to prepare and get ready. But I know some people, they get the call and they're like, right, can you start rehearsals next week?
That's so intense.
I think I'd find that so stressful. I'd be like, oh no, I don't even know if I'm ready for this.
No, definitely. And then how long were you training for?
We have 2 months of rehearsals in Southampton, which was very hard and very long, but also very fun.
So where do you stay when you're in Southampton?
So it was sort of up to us to find where we want to stay. I stayed it was actually a student accommodation, but we were lucky because the rehearsal month were June through to August. It was the summer, so there was room spare because uni people were off for their summer holidays. So
then do you have to pay for that accommodation yourself?
Yes, yeah, we do. For some companies, they do it for you. Some you get like specific wages for it, but this particular one didn't.
Okay. And then while you are doing your training, I assume you also have to get your medical, your C1D visa, your Seaman's book.
We did all of that prior to starting rehearsals.
Okay.
Just so it was all done.
A lot to do.
Yeah, they sort of sent us instructions and this is what you need, and like a full list.
You've got 2 months of training where you have to obviously learn all the routines. So how many routines did you have to learn?
So we had, I think it was a total of 8 shows. How rehearsals worked were we had a show a week. So we'd learn the whole show, and then at the end of the week we have a filming day where we'd just do the show full out in the studio and it would be filmed. so that when we get on board we can refer back to it if our memory's like got a bit mushed up with all the shows that we've learned. It was 6 days a week we were rehearsing, Monday to Saturday. By the 8th week, when you're on your last show, your brain is just like, I don't know if anything else can go in, but somehow your body just does it. I think we were lucky we had a recap week at the end where we could run them all and just see where we're at. Having it recorded definitely helped, because I was referring back to that all the time.
So when you get on board, you have an installation process, is that what it's called?
That's it. So one show at a time. We usually get maybe 3 or 4 days on the show. Day one of the first show, we'd do blocking.
Right.
So we get on the stage and we just walk through all the routines. We're all standing with a notebook and we sort of go, right, starting positions of this song, there's certain lights that you've got to be in, and obviously formations. It's very different from the studio that you've just been in, which is just a big open floor. So they're like, okay, we've actually got things to not hit and be seen by everyone. And we start doing dress rehearsals, because it's all very well knowing what you're doing now, but we've also now got costumes added onto that and quick changes. So all of that has to be rehearsed as well.
I'm guessing the first maybe 2 months of being on board is still a bit stressful because you're still getting to grips with everything. And then is that when it kind of eases off a bit after that stage?
Yeah, definitely. Once install is over, we have time off in the day, and then we just do the show in the evening. In install as well, so we'll open one show and then we start on a brand new show the next day, but whilst we're rehearsing that one, we'll still be doing another show that night. So it's like we're doing like 2 different shows on the same day. And
so you've done 2 months of rehearsal on land, and then you do, I guess, 2 months install. No, you must just be knackered. I was just going to say,
yeah, it is exhausting.
Do you have to provide anything yourself, like dance shoes or anything?
No, so everything that we wear in the show is all provided for us. I actually forgot to mention that in install we have a lot of costume fittings as well. The previous cast, we would wear the same costumes as them, so they would have washed them all, got them all ready for us, but obviously we're all different shapes and sizes. So the first thing we do for that show is we'll have a costume fitting. So they will have a couple of wardrobe ladies come on board whilst we're in install, and they'll adjust everything. But yeah, it's all provided, all the costumes and the shoes that we wear in the shows.
What was your first day like?
Oh God, it was very scary, but really, really exciting.
But it's quite nice that you all get to like join together, because you've spent 2 months with each other, so you've probably formed really close friendships by then.
It was nice to have a group of people doing the same thing at the same time.
And was it what you expected working on a cruise ship?
Yeah, it did. It really exceeded my expectations. Just the actual job itself, getting to perform and doing what you've trained, and finally being a job that you can do what you love, is just amazing in itself. But then the travelling and just the fun that you have on there is great. I didn't know that I'd love it as much as I did.
What is a normal embarkation day like for a dancer?
We're really lucky actually, we have the day off usually until it gets to drills. Dancers and cast members all have a role to play in that as well, as does everyone on the ship. So we welcome the guests into their muster station and we do the lovely life jacket demonstration. And then usually from that we go straight to tech, which is our rehearsal before the show, because pretty much every embarkation day we have a show that night. Although we've had a nice chilled day, it's sort of rush to drills, rush to tech, have a bit of dinner, and then go and get ready for the first show. Yeah, that's usually what it looks like for us.
Okay, and then what about a sea day?
A sea day, we usually have a dance class. Like I said, the salsa line dance or fit steps. The class was like 45 minutes an hour, so it wasn't too hard. And salsa was also at 3 p.m, so I got a lovely big lay-in.
And then did you have shows in the evening?
We didn't have a show every sea day. It just sort of depends how the schedule worked for that cruise. But if we did around maybe 4, we go to tech. Basically, we just do a run of the entire show without costume, just so we might have not done that show since the last cruise, or the beginning of the last cruise, so it could have been 2 weeks. So we just make sure we all remember it, all the technical side, like the lights and any like set that's moving is working. Then dinner, then makeup, hair, and get into costume and go.
And do you do your own makeup and hair?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, and then what about a port day?
A port day, so we would basically have the day off until we need to be back if we have a show that night for tech. If we haven't got a show that night, then we would just be back on board when they're all aboard. Unless we have IPM, which is of course where a certain amount of crew have to be kept on board for like in case there's an emergency. Yeah. So unless we have that, we are free to explore and see the lovely place that
As a dancer or a cast member, are you considered officer status? So, and with that, what perks do you get? So, do you get your own cabin? Do you get to eat in the officers' mess?
The company that I was on, we were, which was really, really lucky. Dancers ourselves, we didn't have our own cabins. We shared 2 girls a cabin, but the singers, they do get their own cabin. To be honest, I was really unsure about sharing a cabin at first, but actually I don't think I could have done it without having someone. Yeah, like you said, we get to eat in the officers' mess, which was probably dangerous for my diet, but it was nice that we could order from a menu.
As a dancer especially, you do have to stay fit and I guess try and not put on weight. What's a good way to say that?
It's true. Well, we've got costumes to fit in. We've got a job that requires a lot of fitness. So it was hard. To be fair, I think in install we could get away with it. We were burning so many calories and doing so much that I could afford to have 2 steaks if I fancied it. But no, it was hard towards the end. It sort of was starting to catch up with me. Especially we did a Caribbean cruise, which was a 35-night Caribbean cruise. We only do the shows once per cruise, so that was like 7 nights basically, or 8 nights working out of 35, and the rest of that was not working. So I was like, okay, I need to now watch what I'm eating.
So you basically got a holiday.
Honestly, the Caribbean was just like I was a passenger on board. It was dreamy.
After your first contract, do you get to choose what ship you go on? Do you get to make a request, or do you literally just go where they decide?
We don't get to decide. Perhaps, I don't know, people who have done a few more contracts than just the one with the same company, they might have more of a say in and can request, can I do this ship again, or can I try this one maybe?
Obviously, it's a very physical job, so there's a high chance that people can get injured. So what happens if someone does get injured?
So if someone goes off, we have a dance captain who sort of runs our rehearsals. If someone's gone off sick, we'd call a rehearsal. So if it was a C day, we'd go in the theatre during the day, and we'd just have to sort of reblock everything. So this is like, okay, brain switched on because you've been used to doing the same thing for however many months, and suddenly I've got to remember that I'm not standing there, and just jig things around to make it work as best as we can.
So that's fine for an illness if they're hopefully going to get better within the week. But if someone does break something and it's like, okay, you need like 6 months to fully recover, do they like fly them home and then fly someone out to replace them?
They'd obviously have to be sent home. I couldn't think of anything worse. That must be the most sad thing ever. But yeah, they would, back at the academy in Southampton, they'd maybe see if someone who's already done those songs so they can just get straight in. They already know what they're doing. Just do a little rehearsal to make sure they remember everything. If not, then we'd have to get someone new in and just teach them it as quick as possible, which would be like a crazy job.
For every show, you have to maintain an amazing amount of enthusiasm, like it's the first time that you've done that show, even if you've done it 100 times before. So do you find that difficult?
For some shows I do, and some shows I don't. Like there was a couple of shows on board that I just absolutely adored. I just didn't ever want to stop doing it, so that enthusiasm was more than real, and it was like we all had such a buzz off each other. And then there would be some shows that we wouldn't like as much, but obviously we couldn't let that show. It was hard sometimes if it was the one we didn't like and we were tired, and it's like, okay, here we go. But as soon as the curtain comes up, I sort of forget about it anyway. It's sort of, I don't know, that sounds really cheesy, but you sort of just...
Can you please tell me how the salary works within the cast?
Yeah, so there are different sort of levels of salaries within the cast. So singers tend to get more. I know on the company that I worked with, they got more, but it's still a nice sort of salary that we were getting, but maybe not as high as other companies pay. I know that people who have worked on maybe bigger ships get paid more. We took maybe a smaller salary than other companies might get, but a better lifestyle. Like we spoke about earlier, the officer status. Some companies, you don't have that, but you get paid a bit more. And I think for me, I'd sort of rather the lifestyle and paid a little bit less because I'm enjoying my time whilst I'm on there and still saving.
Yeah, and I imagine on the bigger ships as well, like, yes, you would get paid more, but you'd also have a lot more work to do.
Yeah, we got paid in pounds as well.
Do you get paid when you're on the ship and at home, or just when you're on the ship?
So just when we're in the contract, when we're on the ship, we had 2 separate contracts. So the rehearsals was one contract, we got paid for that, and then we signed a new one when we got on the ship, and we got paid just for the time we do. And then as soon as we disembark on that last day, that's pay stops.
How long are your contracts normally?
My contract on board was just over 5 months, which is quite a short one, which I was sort of thankful for my first one. But I know some people have 6 months, some people have, I think 10 is the max.
Because you've got the 2 months at the start, so that's a whole year.
That's it.
Of constant dancing. What are the top 3 skills you would say that you need to be a good dancer / cast member on a cruise ship?
I would say enthusiastic, because you need a lot of it. So after the shows we do doors, so we sort of go up to the doors where the passengers come out, and they sort of say like, oh, lovely show, and you have to be enthusiastic, and on stage and off stage when you're a dancer on board, you sort of always got to have that energy about you. I would say it is a big commitment, and you've got to be willing to put your body through some strain and your mind through some strain, and you're committed to a team as well. You can't let anyone down, because you're working together as a whole cast. So yeah, commitment is very important. And I would say fitness. I would say that's a very
important
like a big skill to have.
Yeah, no, so
energetic.
Yeah, commitment.
Fitness and commitment.
Yeah, they're good ones. Nice. What is your favourite and your least favourite thing about being a dancer on board a cruise ship?
My favourite thing is having a variety of things to do. You haven't just got the one show on board a ship. It doesn't get boring. You've got something new to do like every night, and also the travelling, because I can't lie, waking up and going to a different beach every day is just perfect for me. My least favourite, probably just the pain that my body goes through. I'm not gonna lie, I laid on that bed in the cabin just like, I can't sit up today. Like, you have an achy back, you have achy legs.
And then what is your favourite and least favourite thing about living and working on a ship?
Something that I didn't think I'd love so much, but is the social sort of side of it. Yeah. There's always people around, like all the dancers and from the cast and the singers were on the same corridor. Yeah. So if you just, I don't know, you fancy a chat, you literally, pretty much everyone just sort of had their door and they'll actually just sort of pop in. And I was never really much of a social person, so I didn't know how I would cope with that. Like, I'm usually like a bit held back, but actually when you're on the ship, sort of everyone is just like, you just know everyone sort of thing. So that was a really nice part of it. Yeah, my least favourite thing would probably be being away from home. It was hard leaving everyone behind, and you sort of miss birthdays and you miss Christmas, and yeah, being away from my family and my boyfriend at home was quite hard.
To anyone wanting to be a dancer on board a cruise ship, what advice would you give them?
Just absolutely go for it.
Okay.
Don't stop trying. Keep going at those auditions.
After having done quite a few auditions to go on cruise ships, is there anything you can do to stand out amongst the crowd, basically?
Yeah, I think in an audition, people get so worried about learning the routine that they've given you, that they're making sure they've got all the counts right, and they're making sure they're doing exactly what they've just been told, but their face is just blank and they're concentrating. In an audition, they're not looking for you to get the routine perfect. They know you've got 2 months of rehearsals to do that. All they want to see is that you can perform and you can entertain, because you have to remember that's why they're hiring you. They want to entertain their guests. So if they're watching someone in an audition room that's like, then they're like, okay, that's not great to watch, and they won't catch your eye. But if you just look like you're having the time of your life, you're just performing, and I remember a bit in my audition, it was like a clap, and I was just like straight to them, just like showing that you love this and this is what you want, and that you can entertain and you can perform. Yeah, I think that's more important than anything. Because you could be the most technical, perfect dancer in the world, but if you're boring to watch, then they're not going to hire you.
That's good advice. Thank you, sailors. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, Amy, for telling us all about the job.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave us a comment in the comment box or give this video a like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.